Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen!
I'm Shawnee Constant, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Bean.
Kayfabe, motherfucker.
Kayfabe, motherfucker! We are basking in the glory.
In the glory!
Of the opulent Wrestle Palace Chandelier.
Wrestle Palace!
Monkeys fight prison style, dude.
Boom shakaloo!
The scariest of all clowns. Murder Clown.
It's like we've said previously on the show.
Meteora.
Fat! You got a fat ass! It's like he's covered drinking!
Make him home. It's a work. It's a work. And this is the One Fall Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week of the One Fall Show. My name is Mr. Bean. I'm joined as always by Shawnee Constant.
Hey, everybody.
It is the week after WrestleMania, pretty much the biggest week in professional wrestling, no matter what company you follow and what's your favorite wrestler. And this year gave us a lot to enjoy. I know a lot of people that are on the internet, whether they're in the written word or as podcasts, like to tell you about all the stuff that maybe they would have done different or that could have been done better. This year, it's really hard to hate on the weekend of WrestleMania.
I thought so. I had a blast from start to finish.
Yeah, like right from and for a lot of people, it starts way early into the week, like maybe even Monday, that Raw leading into WrestleMania, leading all the way into the following Wednesday or Thursday. But starting on Friday with NXT Takeover, going into the Hall of Fame, going into WrestleMania on Sunday, and then of course Raw and SmackDown on Monday. Not to mention all the independent shows that happened over the weekend. There was just something for everybody.
What was your favorite thing?
I'll tell you what, right out the gate, the first match on NXT TakeOver, the Tag Team Championships, the War Raiders versus Ricochet and Aleister Black.
Man, how good is the War Raiders entrance? How much fun is that?
Amazing. Amazing.
I love those entrances.
And we got to experience the War Raiders a couple years ago when they were still in Ring of Honor as War Machine. They came here locally, and that was my first exposure to... I believe Hanson is the bigger guy that's so aerial. Mm-hmm. And I was floored then to see it. So when I saw those guys were coming to NXT, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see this kind of stuff. But to see that guy in the ring with my new favorite wrestler, Ricochet,
nice.
It's fantastic, man. Absolutely. I had to go back and watch that match again the Saturday morning.
I can't blame you.
Because I loved it so much. Now, I have to admit, that match was so great that I tapped out like midway through the UK Championship match on TakeOver. Like, I couldn't get through TakeOver because Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle, while good match, had to follow that.
Yeah, I love how the NXT just keeps the hits coming, which is great. Now, this is for people who might be newer to listening. You, in the past, would watch WrestleMania first and then NXT,
yes.
Probably having heard some of the NXT hubbub or getting to watch it in segments. So it's sort of a new experience for you to watch NXT TakeOver start to finish, and they are you have to be locked in for that marathon of adrenaline because
it's true.
It's just hit after hit after hit. Now you say the UK you weren't into that match, or
I was not. Midway through that match was when I started. I find like
Walter is so disturbing. He comes out like I guess a World War I soldier, but of course it's
sure.
very Wagnerian. The entire crowd is chanting for him in unison, which is super weird. And the only thing that could have made that entrance better is if they would have unfurled like maybe red flags with a black W and a white circle.
Yeah.
And really went for it all. But he is so heel. And it's that slap fest. And he can get up on the top row. I love Walter.
Yeah.
He's such a dicey character, but he pulls it off so well.
Right, and I think that that was probably a wake-up call to myself that there are many styles of pro wrestling, and not everything is for everybody. And I think that the UK style might not be my thing.
That is madness.
It might just not be something that I'm super into.
Yeah, see, to me, the WWE or the UK style, which draws a lot of its performers from Progress, to me that's like the purest form of professional wrestling.
Sure.
So sorry to hear that. I'm sure many of our fans are as well.
Yeah, no, I apologize to anybody that's sad to hear that out of all the things I enjoy in wrestling, UK style may not be among them. However, I'm not saying that match was a stinker. It's just the first match came in with so much adrenaline.
And then we had a similar experience WrestleMania night when you have the. First off, I enjoyed the pre-show. I thought that Rollins versus Lesnar right out of the gate. First, you get that wet blanket. Hulk Hogan comes out, thanking the 80,000 Hulkamaniacs for being there. I'm like, dude, even in that room, I don't know that you have a 100% approval rating.
Right.
You're a little bit of a clown. But then Heyman marches out and plays it perfectly in terms of story.
Yes.
If I'm not going to be last, we're going to get the hell out of here. And what a match. And the
Yeah.
Universal title changes hands first thing. And at the end of it, I'm like, whoo, that was a lot of energy.
Absolutely.
And I was wondering if the night was going to be able to maintain it. And I will tell you, when Becky got the 2 belts via what I thought was a schmoz, but
right.
apparently maybe it was a botch, I was still jacked and excited and
right.
stayed up for another 8 hours.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, now it is a 5-hour show, so there were obviously low points. It ebbs and flows. But I feel like WrestleMania definitely ebbed and flowed way better this year than it has previously, being such
the
a
great
huge
matches
show.
were so great, and a couple of the sketchy ones like Baron Corbin versus
Kurt Angle
for his retirement match. My thought was that I thought it was a work. I thought we were going to see John Cena,
right?
And we had already seen Cena by that point, which
yes.
is a whole nother story. But I thought if they put on just a standard match, it was going to be a disaster, and there's no way that it was going to get over with me. And I'll say, I loved it.
Really?
I thought it was hilarious that Baron Corbin won and then just like rolled out of the ring. It looked like he had actually damaged, hurt his leg a little bit. It looked like he was a little limpy. And I just thought I was just laughing my ass off because Kurt is so over with that crowd. So much so that as soon as the kayfabe's over, he immediately is just like, hey, thanks everybody. And it's so heartwarming. And he's got that big, goofy, glassy-eyed smile.
Yeah.
And the crowd is so into him. And that would normally be a low point for me because it's just a match
right.
and a long-ass show.
Yeah.
But the emotions were there. It was powerful. And you had The Miz and Shane O'Mac putting on an incredible story.
Yeah, you were saying before we turned the mics on that might be your favorite match of the
it was incredible.
The weekend.
Incredible. Yeah, to me there were so many matches that, for my own personal taste, I would rate 4 and 5 stars. That it's good that I don't rate things because it would just be. It's too much of a love fest.
Yeah,
there's so many great things going on this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me back up a little bit to NXT TakeOver and say that I did get up Saturday morning and watch the rest of NXT TakeOver and did enjoy it very much. Gargano and Adam Cole,
baby,
fantastic.
They are some headliners, man.
Fantastic match kind of thing. And the women's match was real good too. It was a lot of really excellent wrestling, different styles of wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's what it comes down to is that, they gave me the style that I am most excited to see immediately.
Yeah, the thing about NXT is you get the different styles of wrestling, but they ignore the attractions. Where Vince McMahon loves those attractions.
Right.
And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, Michael Shea and Adam Yost were like the SNL guys, like whatever, it was fine.
Sure.
I thought that Royal Rumble match was sort of just a big dud.
The battle royal was kind of
Yeah, regardless, they actually I thought helped elevate the match a little bit, and I don't know, but it could have not been there. That would have been fine with me. The attraction stuff I'm not that into, but if there are people that are, cool, good for them, whatever.
Right. And then. As a quick aside, the Hall of Fame went from I'll see it when I see it to man, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, holy crap! Some hippie just attacked Bret Hart.
As soon as you hear that Bret Hart got rolled, I'm like, what?
I was watching that live. I normally don't watch the. I'm not much of a sentimentalist, so I don't really watch the Hall of Fame stuff.
Right.
People get so upset about who's going in and who doesn't, and I'm like, but I turned it on this year, and I was really enjoying it. Except for Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He essentially, his whole speech was talking about how he was Hulk Hogan's caddy. It was so weird. Like, he was not describing a Hall of Fame career. But, whatever. Good for you, man. You get to go hang out. It's like he knew the shears were actually what should be in the Hall of Fame. He kept holding them up like, and
I don't
into the
know
Hall of Fame
about
this year,
that.
Bruce the Barber's shears.
he did wrestle.
Maybe.
I don't know that.
I don't know that anyone has evidence of that actually happening.
You can watch it on the network.
Regardless. I thought all the speeches were very good. I thought the DX stuff was actually this really interesting intersection of modern. We got this modern culture where so many people are pushing back against the idea that we're not allowed to be funny by using edgy stuff.
Sure.
And so you have these like ultimate edgelords in this position of power that legitimately have to worry about the share price of their stock. So how far can they push the envelope? I thought that was really interesting and fun to watch. And Road Dogg, genuinely funny.
Yeah.
He's got good comic timing. I don't know any of these guys.
Right.
This is the first time I noticed that I finally was like, oh, part of like Shawn Michaels' appeal is that he's always a little goofy.
Yeah.
I never noticed that. I remember when he was young and cocky and he was doing the sexy boy stuff and he wasn't like, I don't remember him mixing in the aw shucks kind of stuff. And I'm like,
especially
he does that 100% of the time. I have to reappraise Shawn Michaels as a human being.
Especially later Shawn Michaels stuff when it was just kind of him and Triple H doing the DX shtick. He was definitely the one that just had to be a little dumb and a little goofy.
Yeah.
And that was kind of fun.
Going on.
Yeah, for sure. The part about the DX thing I liked the most was at the very end when they pulled the squirt guns out, which is kind of silly. But to see Triple H come down off the stage and hunt down Baron Corbin with the squirt gun.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, and he's like, him and Baron Corbin are playing like roundabout with Ronda Rousey and her husband. Like Baron's trying to hide behind them, and Triple H keeps coming around and squirting them.
That's
I'm
fun.
Like,
I missed that.
That's somebody's dad.
There's a couple. There's some things going on in the WWE. So that was one of your favorite programs of the weekend that maybe people wouldn't been key on. One of my favorite programs that people might not be key on is Shane McMahon versus that announcer. Bullying the crap out of that guy, and to me, it's some of the most compelling TV and the WWE is providing right now.
What did that poor announcer do to Shane McMahon? I hope this is leading to something. I hope this doesn't just like go away mysteriously.
I mean, it'll probably go his entire heel run, right?
Yeah.
Shane McMahon, I am liking as a heel. I think this is a lot of fun.
It's an interesting, different type of heel, which is what we need. Not like you can use some of the tropes that we're familiar with as long as you put a new spin on them.
Yeah, so you're going to be a little bit of the authority, but a little bit of yourself, right? So he has to have some Vinnie Mac in there because that presence needs to exist for when they want to use it in the story,
right?
For he and Stephanie.
I mean, this is not the first time a announcer has gotten, kind of bullied by a wrestler. But
this is particularly gripping.
It's just out of nowhere.
He just grabbed him by the tie and dragged him all the way up the ramp. I'm like, is this a Pornhub?
It's a asphyxiation fetish going on there.
Whoa. Keep it, jeez.
Keep it PG.
Hi, everybody. I'm good old JR Jim Ross, WWE Hall of Famer, and this show is scheduled for one fall, and it damn sure will be a slobber knocker.
But yeah, like you were saying earlier, Seth Rollins defeats Brock Lesnar in the pre-show. Friggin' Hawkins and Ryder beat the Revival.
Yes, ending the streak.
Fuck.
I don't know.
Which was, absolutely crazy.
I think that for sure going into the new season, the tag teams are going to get a spotlight, and I have to believe that the Revival are going to be heavily in the mix, at least for the first couple of months. I don't think that them losing the title is them losing the push that they're getting right now. That's my feeling, and they shouldn't, because they're a whole lot of fun.
Right. Did you enjoy the short Samoa Joe Rey Mysterio match?
I enjoyed Rey Mysterio's sweet Mysterio Spider-Man costume, and I was fine with it ending super quick. Mysterio apparently had been hurt. It's a 7-hour damn event.
Right.
It's like, all right, this is kind of cool. Actually, Joe comes out really strong.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it.
I kept making sure that as I'm watching every match, I'm looking at not only as the end of this last season, but also the beginning of the new season.
Sure.
So tried to give, I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about from my end, at least, about the Randy Orton AJ Styles match. It was fine. AJ Styles puts on good matches. Always.
Yeah, it was an acceptably good match. I'm glad they reused the spot where he goes for the springboard and then doesn't do it. So Randy drops on his back. Because I remember seeing that on SmackDown months and months ago and going, that's a great spot. That's a WrestleMania-worthy spot.
Randy Orton really is selling. He seems to be into it right now, which is helpful. Sometimes he doesn't seem to care. But overall, I'm like, well, this will maybe mean something in the future. I'm just going to use this as a time to relax. I'm glad it was early in the card.
Yeah, and apparently we won out at home because we didn't have a giant golden light shining in our eyes during the entire match.
What are you talking about?
Did you not see that on Twitter?
No.
So Randy's lights are these like big orange golden lights or whatever like that, and one of them wouldn't turn off after his entrance and was shining into the crowd's eyes. People on Twitter were like, I can't even see your match.
Of all the people, too, Randy Orton.
Yeah, right. He was a nice guy on Twitter, though. He apologized to the people that couldn't see his match, but guaranteed that it was good. And that you could see it on the network.
Those who don't know, Randy Orton is a professional wrestler who loves Monster Energy drink and drives a pickup truck that is the cab of a larger pickup truck.
I did not know. The Monster Energy I took as a given.
Right.
But the cab I need a picture of. I don't know how accurate that is. What else happened at WrestleMania? It's a 5-hour show. Everything happened. Oh, okay. So you were talking about
Give it the program, man.
You were talking about enjoying like Shane and The
Miz.
And The Miz very
Epic
much.
storytelling with a potato-faced old man.
Yeah, that was great seeing his dad come out and that Lion King ending with the scaffolding.
Oh, so good, where he's begging, and I thought it was very interesting because we went into Tuesday not knowing how Shane was going to respond.
Yeah.
Because the match ends with him unconscious on top of the Miz having begged. Like he never did a heel move.
Right.
You know, he thought maybe he'd go for the low blow or something. I was waiting for the Miz to just super kick him in the face and just kick him over
Kick
the
him
wall.
right over, but no, he's going for the suplex.
The suplex was actually pretty epic, and the angle. I loved how that thing, as they're working that scaffolding, it felt like PlayStation early era 3D platformers, where it's like going over a rail and onto the new level, and then you fight there, and then you climb to the rail into the new level, and you fight there in these little cubes. But that last shot where they're just like looking over the crowd, it looked like they were 1,000 feet up. That was fantastic. And then they switch the camera angle, and you're like, they're 3 feet up, and they're falling in a ball pit filled with marshmallows.
Right.
It's like, whoa. I did not love that. But I watched that match, actually watched most of WrestleMania 2 times.
Really?
And, yeah, I loved that match.
That's awesome.
I love the storytelling of the mid-show. I love this heel McMahon. A lot of fun.
We had a small gathering at our house, and the part of the night that drew the most laughter was absolutely during the SmackDown tag team match, while Cesaro is spinning Ricochet.
What a great spot!
And Sheamus is just clubbing everybody.
That spot was so good that they got to headline Raw the next night. What a weird turn of events. And it happened so early, they break into that last event, and I'm like, here it comes. We're about to get the Super Friends. We have this unlikely team up of Kofi and newly crowned Beast Slayer.
Yep.
Here comes the Bar. They break in, and the Super Friends are going to have to fight them. I'm like, where's the rest of them? The locker rooms are going to clear. Heels are going to come out one after another. They're going to fight them off. No.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
And I finally said to myself, you know what? Stop looking for the factions. You're not going to get the factions. Enjoy the ride. This new season, this new post-WrestleMania, there are so many characters on this roster that I love.
Absolutely.
I'm going to stop fantasy booking my factions and let this new creative team do their thing for a while.
Well, what do you think of, speaking of new characters, what do you think of the returning Sami Zayn?
Love him.
Yeah.
I think he's like the new Daniel Bryan. He basically is taking this sort of leftist social ideology and putting the spotlight on the most vocal of that group, just like Daniel Bryan did with environmentalism, and he figured out a way to distill his own beliefs into a heel by looking at examples of the most the vegan that always rubs your face in the fact that that he's a vegan.
Right.
Oh yeah, you can turn this into a heel, and it seems like Sammy's doing that same thing with the crowd here, the WWE universe. He said some sort of code word in there. I can't remember what it was, but there was a code word he said, and I was like, he's attacking his own people.
Right.
So heel. I love it. And I will say, I hope that he and Daniel Bryan end up on the same show, because the move is so similar between the two of them. I'm very curious to see if they're actually doing different things or if this is part of getting them two together.
Right.
I'm not begging for the factions, but I still feel like Daniel Bryan randomly having the big man following him around.
Oh, Eric Rowan.
Has some meaning somewhere.
I'm sure you were too. You're wearing your Ramon shirt today. I'm sure you were super into Eric Rowan's Romero shirt he was wearing at WrestleMania.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
I thought it was cool.
I don't know who Romero is.
But speaking of Daniel Bryan, that absolutely had to be a highlight of WrestleMania's Kofi Mania.
Oh,
They put on
awesome.
They put on absolutely a 5-star match.
And I love that they, the one we can complain about the 7-hour show. I do like that all of the matches that deserved marquee attention got it. The New Day were allowed to have their kids come into the ring. It was a full celebration. There was no moment where you felt like it was cut short. Kurt Angle, same thing. All the title matches, actually, all the singles titles matches at least.
Yeah.
They all felt like a big match. You had even though it was already creeping up on midnight by the time the women's match was the headliner, they did that long Charlotte Flair helicopter entrance, which I thought was so befitting of a Flair.
Absolutely.
And where she pulls off the jacket and they put on the
robe.
It was funny. I was watching the second night with my buddy Mouth Breather over on Instagram, and he's like, she's not wearing a robe? What is going on? And then I'm like, no, she's wearing like a generic black leather jacket like every kind of heel wrestler, and takes the generic thing off, puts on the robe. I'm like, perfect.
Right.
But given that chance to breathe, I thought they did a great job with that all weekend.
Well, there were some missteps. Do you want to try and address some of them?
I don't know, what were they?
Well, we
Maybe it
obviously
was a misstep bringing that up.
obviously the biggest one would be the finish to WrestleMania, the finish to the match where Becky kind of gets a crucifix roll up on Ronda, and Ronda's shoulder isn't quite on the mat for a 3 count.
Yeah, I thought it was a schmoz, but apparently not, eh?
I don't know.
Certainly weren't playing it as one.
Yeah, I mean, the way Ronda sold it was like she didn't know that was the way it was supposed to go down.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the match, though. I thought the match was fantastic.
Yeah.
My 2 favorite moments in this match, well, why don't you give yours? Because mine are probably a little off the beaten path.
I don't know. It was one of those, like, I was excited for it. I was ready for the man to come around. I really enjoyed the entrance for Ronda Rousey. Whenever there's a band at WrestleMania, even if it's for my worst, if Bobby Lashley had a band playing him out, I'd be hype.
Yeah, Joan Jett rules.
Yeah, no, Joan Jett was fantastic. I don't know, the powerbomb spot was probably really high on my radar for that, where both of the girls
double powerbomb on Ronda.
Yeah, where Ronda's got both the girls in an arm bar
tag out, which she's done in the past and threatened to do here.
Right, and she and they powerbombed her a couple of times. That was really cool. What was
my favorite spot of all of them was when Ronda the table's in the ring.
Oh no! I know what this.
She flips the table over and she yells twice, "Tables are for bitches! Tables are for bitches!" And then, like within a minute, Charlotte gets a 2 count. She pins I don't remember which one. You get a 2 count, and you get a close up of Charlotte, and she pounds the ring and she says, "Dang it!"
That was funny. That was amazing. Yeah, you know what? I can't believe I forgot about Tables Are for Bitches, because Amy's been telling me that ever since Sunday at our apartment. She reminds me every couple of hours, Tables Are for Bitches. So it's just become part of our lexicon now. But yeah, Charlotte saying "dang it" was like, oh man, she must be upset.
That was quality.
Mom almost said a swear. But it makes me cringe a little bit for the future of what the women's division could be, because I can just picture the old man in the back going, well, I gave you the main event and look what you did.
I don't know.
And
he sold a bunch of stock. I think he's going to be focusing more attention on this football thing than, I think he's going to be in Gorilla less and less.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing. It's good. Big Papa
H
in there, Big Papa Paul,
and
sitting in that chair instead.
And that was something I thought I had over the weekend too. Is that we're always real hype about when our on-screen NXT talent gets called up or something like that. Can we start? I don't know, like filtering some of the NXT backstage talent into the writers' room or the production
the writers are doing
team?
some good work. What didn't you not? What are you looking to do?
No,
here?
I just the way NXT is always booked so solidly.
Yeah, but
so
if they
completely
don't
solidly
fuck with attractions, as long as you're going to have WWE fucking with attractions, there's gonna be annoying stuff.
Right.
You get nothing but pure adrenaline for the entirety of an NXT show. And I don't know. I think they're always going to mix that attraction there. It's part of the legacy. They look at it as Andre the Giant, wrestling little people kind of stuff. Except for, maybe next year you could have Braun facing all of the Undisputed Era and clubbing them around like a bunch of toddlers.
I don't know. It's really weird. And then I wake up. It's Thursday as we record this. Obviously, it releases tomorrow.
Kayfabe, motherfucker.
However, I wake up this morning and it's one of those days where, like, every couple of minutes I scroll through my Facebook feed and there's another bit of news. Like,
long story, but quite well told.
Okay, so the Hall of Fame, one of the highlights of the Hall of Fame was at the beginning of DX's speech where they talked about there's a piece of paper in the back that has rules on it. One of those rules is do not mention Vince McMahon. And then they spend the next
funny bit.
5 full minutes saying Vince McMahon. Apparently, the guy in the back who helped write the speech for them was fired on the spot.
Wow.
While the speech is going on, Vince is
No.
like, clear out your desk, you're done.
No.
That's what I was reading. I think his Pro Wrestling Torch or something like that was talking about this guy. He's an indie guy that came in 2016. I mean, you got to imagine, especially with Billy Gunn going, he can't fire me. Well, you know what that means. So you got to imagine this guy probably.
Oh yeah, and Paul said he was McMahon's gonna buy that pissant company and fire him again.
Right.
Interesting.
Right. That was definitely from a Smarky standpoint. That was definitely a highlight of the week, is to see how many times AEW popped up.
Sure.
And as kind of a bratty fan, I definitely every time we get some booking decision like Sheamus and Cesaro in the main event of Raw, please chant AEW at them as hard as you can.
Right. I had some trouble rectifying that again because I thought something huge was coming, and I'm like, oh, it's just the bar. I think that's like their thank you for your service moment. Like, look, you guys have worked this angle that's not really getting you anywhere, but you've done it for the entire year. We're going to give you the spotlight of a main event on a big weekend. Thank you for your service. So that's kind of how I look at that. And plus, they hit that spot with the swirl, the spinning and the chest punching and WrestleMania. That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I have to hand it to them. It was not a bad night for the bar. No, I don't think it was a great way to end that Raw, for sure.
Right. And it seems like after SmackDown, it seems like they're kind of leading into the Bar versus the New Day, and the Bar trying to take the belt off Kofi. Like, that will probably be Kofi's first program, as well as Drew McIntyre, it looks like, will be Seth Rollins' first program.
Oh, I don't
as
like
champion.
That. I don't like the sound of that at all.
Right. But at the same time, we do have the Superstar shakeup.
And a latex vulture in a smoking cardboard box.
What the fuck?
I love it.
What the hell? Why is the turkey from Thanksgiving in a cardboard box?
I'm arguing with people constantly about this. All my friends are like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Is The Toxic Avenger not one of the great movies of the 1980s? Do we not like Troma anymore? Do we not like cardboard box and smoke machines?
Look.
And Bray going, through a puppet. If he comes back as a ventriloquist act and that latex bird is Sister Abigail, I am buying all the t-shirts. I am so into it.
I am not sold. Look, I love Rosemary and Aleister Black. I love the spooky characters as much as the next guy. But
he's not spooky. He's choking on his own
fucking
people.
Oh my god,
so good. Bring back Bray. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah. Do you think I have not heard that was Bray Wyatt.
Oh, you could hear it clearly. It was his laugh. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. On I believe it was SmackDown. They showed it.
Yeah. God damn it, Bray. What are they doing? Oh,
killing it.
Apparently, speaking of spooky characters, why did Bobby Lashley have awesome contacts at WrestleMania?
Because he was fighting the demon, and he was demonstrating himself in the first stage of a lycanthrope or monster transformation, like when in Thriller, when
we'll see if he would have danced.
Man who
I might have gotten that.
Really liked boys. That cool shot where he looks up and the eyes are yellow. You see it in all the old werewolf movies. That's what I felt like watching Bobby Lashley. And he put on a hell of a show. That's Suicida was very impressive. And it was great to see Finn have the title. Going into Monday night with Finn and Seth Rollins as your two title holders, I was like, this is like a ray of sunshine. This is a beautiful morning after a long winter. The whole in terms of the title picture.
Yeah, the whole switch of the title picture on almost every front is really kind of fun and refreshing.
Yeah.
Like
Agreed.
we've mentioned before that I'm a big fan of them, kind of hot potatoing a title because it gives the illusion, at least, that at any given night somebody could win, kind of thing, and I'm cool with that. But at the same time, to have so many titles change hands in one night, it feels like a definite shift.
Yes.
In some fashion, and going back to the AEW thing, I think as the year progresses, the narrative is going to turn less from we don't care about that to we're going to kick their ass. And it's
that DX speech. Triple H made it very clear, like, hey, you're not just going to be banging with the old man. Like,
right.
We were the ones who rolled the tank up on WCW. We ain't, I ain't fucking around.
We're not just going to wall up and let you do whatever you want to.
Very interesting, very fun. I'm into it.
Oh man, is there anything we missed? Because I mean, it was a huge week.
I'm sure there's plenty that we missed, but it gives people to talk about. People can tell us what we missed on the old One Fall Show Facebook group.
Yeah,
and I'm sure there's plenty. But you watch 50 hours of wrestling,
15,000 hours of wrestling.
To sort it out through your brain to talk about it, you're gonna miss a few things. But I was into, like I said, almost everything. The things I wasn't into, I was able to easily overlook because there was so much goodness.
A couple of news and notes I did just think of before we sign off here. Have you watched the first episode of the Viceland?
No, I've not. I've been watching
the Bruiser Brody stuff.
No, I've been watching Glow on Netflix.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's the show that introduced me to Mark Maron. I did not know who Mark Maron was, and then I watched that show. I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah, he's playing himself.
Yeah,
and he constantly, and on his own podcast, he constantly says, like, when people say how good he is as an actor, because it's sort of a new thing for him, he's like, well, thank you, but let me tell you, Allison Brie is a real actor, and she is phenomenal in that show.
Absolutely. I definitely recommend check out the Bruiser Brody episode of the Viceland
story
thing.
Is so harrowing.
It's about 40 or 50 minutes.
Oh wow!
Mick Foley does the overdubs. He's like the narrator.
So this is like a legit, excellent sort of.
Yes. They interview Abdullah the Butcher.
Ooh.
They interview Tony Atlas, who was there, and I can't remember his name. He has the big mustache. He was last time we saw him on WWE.
Yosemite Sam.
Yes, exactly. Last time we saw him on WWE TV, he was managing Jack Swagger.
Oh, I can never remember his name either.
Right, I think he's over on TNA right now, but all of those old timers talking about it. And there's a couple of really interesting scenes of both Bruiser Brody and the interview scenes with Abdullah the Butcher. Their foreheads are just hamburger.
Yeah.
Like we say that all the time about some old wrestlers, but it is grotesque to look at.
Yeah. Abdullah the Butcher. Well, I mean, he was called the Butcher.
He has very clear divots in the top of his skull where it feels like you could just like move them with your fingers and see brain.
Yeah, I didn't in Foley's books, didn't he talk about driving with him and the fact that he could take coins and put them in the ridges in his head even 25 years ago?
Yes. Also, this morning I dropped into. They dropped it Monday night. There's a Table for Three on the network.
Ricochet on there?
Ricochet, Adam Cole, and Johnny Gargano sitting around talking about going from indie wrestling to NXT TakeOver.
Ricochet may be one of the first guys who I don't think ever is going to go heel, but I'm into him.
Yeah, I can't
Faces
picture
are
it.
real hard for me because they hit a certain plateau and then they're just like, hey, I'm a good guy who just keeps getting pounded back down in the mid-card,
Right.
But I really enjoy Ricochet's personality. He seems to be that guy 100% of the time. And
right.
It's very refreshing, and he's just open-minded and free and fun and very grateful.
Yeah.
He's a super cool dude. I like him.
I hope for a lot of good things for Ricochet. He's another one of those guys, like I said, over the weekend he became my favorite wrestler. And he's another one of those guys, like we've mentioned before. If they moved Finn Balor to 205 Live, I'd probably have to start watching. Mm-hmm. If Ricochet was moved to 205 Live, I wouldn't think of it as a demotion. I would think of it as a, hey, you want to watch 205 Live? Because now this guy is great.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was disappointed. I kept calling for Gulak to come out at various points. And, I never got to see Gulak.
But you got to see the Doctor of Thugonomics.
I did. Oh. That was amazing.
Absolutely.
I'm watching that, and you're watching that black and white footage of, because it started weird, of just weird old footage.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a scene about about the Babe Ruth calling his shot, and I'm
Yep.
like, what? It's like, it seems like Bray Wyatt's the only possible. Like, I don't know what. And then the Dr. Thugonomist comes out, says he's turned heel, says a bunch of naughty things on TV,
Yep.
which I love. Woo! I was the greatest of all time. John Cena, greatest of all time.
I feel for a guy that did not have a match
Mm-hmm.
this weekend. Elias had two of the biggest moments of the weekend.
Yeah.
It's how great is it too that they saved the Undertaker for Raw Monday?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, like give them some clownish spot on Monday. Everyone gets excited. They all get to cheer, and I don't have to sit through 45 minutes of extra entrance time during WrestleMania.
Yep.
I was all about that. Yeah, please.
I loved
Perfect.
I love how they factored into it too. I was showing Amy the clip where he's staring right at the camera. He's like, the next man to interrupt me is a dead man, and then the gong hits and the look on and the blood just drains from
Yeah.
Elias's face, and he's just wide eyed staring into the camera before the lights go off.
I like to think that every bit that seems like it's going too far and maybe nowhere, that then boomerangs into something entertaining and fun, is Bruce Pritchard's work. I
Yeah.
like to think
You like to
like
believe
somebody who gets just the vaguest concept of emotional storytelling is now addressing the turns.
Yeah.
And even a thing like where the Undertaker, I don't give a fuck. Like, I just don't give a fuck. He's like 100, and I'm not into it.
I've heard
But-
he's somewhat old.
But that's a cool way to do it. The people who love the Undertaker get their pop. I was fine with it. So
Yeah.
much better. Just like get stupid Lesnar out the first match, and Lesnar put in a great performance. It was a great match.
Yeah.
Totally flipped expectations lead to totally flipped entertainment results. Finally, some shakeups that, just calling a thing a shakeup is not actually a shakeup.
It's true.
But we're finally seeing some emotional beats shaken up. A lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to next week, Raw SmackDown.
Yeah.
Which is good. Rather than coming out of the weekend disappointed and thinking, oh my God, why am I going to really spend another year watching this bullshit?
Well, we thank you guys as always for tuning into the One Fall Show. Rate and review us on the old iTunes, and make sure you're back here next week to listen to us talk about the Superstar Shakeup and what the shows are going to look like going forward. Who we're
Yeah.
excited for, and who we wish hadn't gotten separated from their best friends or tag team partners.
Jeez, you're sentimental. Everyone can find us on the One Fall Show Facebook group, and you can find me on Instagram at Shawnee.Constance, slinging really bad art.
It's getting better.
I am a hashtag beginner artist.
You're working it out, man. You got this cool New Day skull with a flower in it over here.
That's not me. That was a drawing by our buddy Mouth Breather.
Oh,
We have a
well
little
then.
high-end horror drawing group. You can take that. Maybe one day it'll be worth something.
All right then.
He's a hustler too. He's working it. But everybody, take it easy, keep it sleazy.
What?
What?
The hell was that?
Hey man, try it out.
Shut up. First of all, it's sleazy. I'm not trying that out.
I know. That's what I just said. Sleazy.
That's gross.
You're gross. Oh man. Okay. So tried to toss the pass to Mr. Bean. And he
Yeah, I whiffed,
he
totally.
just whiffed. So we can just cut all that out.
All right. You know what? We did the prediction scorecards. I didn't even bother to rate mine
I didn't even fill one out.
because typically I try and fill these things out with my head, not my heart, and this is the one time that would have bit me in the ass.
Now I love the fact that people were asking for it and we're playing and we should be playing along.
Yeah.
But this time y'all are gonna have to sort out who the champion is, and we'll present it.
We were taking ourselves out of the running this particular event.
Yeah, until we figure out a compelling reason to do these things. Man, I score so badly every single time.
Yeah, I
It's a
tend to as well.
disaster.
We're bad at it.
I'm also reshuffling my house and the printer's not plugged in.
Oh, well, there you go.
So it's a problem.
That's a good excuse. Let me reset. You got me.
You know what? Keep it sleazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the One Fall Show. My name is
Sippy.
Oh, there's a dog.
Hey, Batman. Hey, Batman.
He's Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
You're like,
no, Sippy, you're
Dude,
Batman.
he wants to be part of the One Fall show. Well, that's going to be in the end.